I didn't realize how many books I had up on my bookcase that I haven't read yet. I should probably stop buying books, but I'm probably not going to. Hello besties, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. My name is Carina, and in today's video I thought I would share with you guys everything that is on my bookcase. Pretty much this is a physical TBR video. I have a lot of books on my bookcase that I haven't read yet. I believe there are 59 books that I haven't read yet. So I thought I would go through them all with you guys and see what is on here, because I kind of forget what I have on my TBR. I am a mood reader, so I just buy a bunch of books and I feel like I never get to them. So yeah, I thought this would be fun to kind of go through them all, see what I have, because I know a couple of these people have bought for me too, so I really don't exactly know what's on my bookcase. So yeah, let's just jump right into this and see all the books that I haven't read. So basically the top shelf on my bookcase is all the books that I have read. They are organized by author's last name. I'm not going to really talk about any of those books because I do have a couple videos talking about certain books that I've read. But I know a lot of these books I've also talked about on my Bookstagram. I've done reviews on my Bookstagram, so you should definitely check out my Bookstagram if you want to see some books that I've read that I've done reviews for. But pretty much other than that, I think I'm going to start reviewing more on YouTube during my monthly wrap-ups. So yeah, if you want to check out like past books I've read, definitely check out my Bookstagram. But let's start with this shelf, the second shelf. First two books I have are actually a part of a series. It is a part of the Off-Campus series by L. Kennedy. I have the first book, which is The Deal, and the second book, which is The Mistake. I genuinely have no idea when I'm going to get to these books. I kind of want to buy the rest of the series before I read these books, but I know a lot of people like these books. They are hockey romance books. I don't know when I'm going to read it. I know I got 50 pages into the first book and I just stopped reading it for some reason. But yeah, I want to get to these soon because a lot of people are actually reading them right now that I follow on Bookstagram, and they are hyping it up so much that I feel like I just have to buy the rest of the series and read it. But I kind of want to finish the Addicted / Calloway Sister series first, but we'll see. So next up I have like this little section of books. None of these books are organized in a particular order. I try to keep all series together, but other than that they're just kind of placed up on my bookcase. So if you have any ideas on keeping this organized, please let me know in the comments down below. I am trying to figure out how I want to organize these books, but I'm just not quite sure yet. But anyways, on to this next section. The first book up here is Normal People by Sally Rooney, and Steph Borer talks about this a lot. She actually has a YouTube video annotating this book, and I saw it and I had to buy it. I always buy any book she suggests. But I really don't know when I'm gonna read this book. I have kind of heard mixed reviews about this book. I hope though I will get to it soon, but it's not too high up on my TBR. There are other books I want to read before I read this, but I am still really excited to get to this. Next up we have Twisted Love by Anna Huang, and I really want to get to this series. I have heard amazing things about this series. I know that these are all standalone series. This is actually though really high up on my TBR. I don't know when I'm going to read this though, because I also actually want to buy the rest of the books in this series before I read this one. But a lot of people are telling me I need to read the series, and I know I do, but I don't know. I really want to buy the rest of the books and kind of binge them all in one go before I start reading it. Next up we have two Emily Henry books. We have Beach Read and People We Meet on Vacation. These I believe were actually on my summer TBR list, and I actually did not stick to my summer TBR whatsoever. There was a lot going on for me this summer, so I didn't get to actually read any of the books that I put on my TBR. but I really want to read these soon. I'm probably not going to read them until next summer, which sucks because I did really want to read them. But I will eventually get to them. They're not like that high up on my TBR, but hopefully next summer I will actually read these. Next up we have American Royals by Katharine McGee, and I actually read this book when I was in middle school and I really don't remember anything about it, but I saw it at the Rip Bodice, which is a romance bookstore, but I saw it and I thought I would read it again because, like I said, I really don't remember anything about this book. I don't know if I actually finished this book when I was in middle school. I probably didn't. That's probably why I don't remember anything, but I know I want to read it, but I have no idea when I'm going to get to it. But yeah, I'm excited to read it. Next up we have The Viscount Who Loved Me by Julia Quinn. I have no idea when I'm going to read this. I don't think I'm actually going to read any of the Bridgerton books. Maybe one day I will. But I kind of bought it after the second season of Bridgerton because I was obsessed with Anthony Bridgerton after that season came out. But I have no intentions of actually reading the book, so who knows if I'm ever going to read it. So yeah, it's probably going to be up on my TBR for a long time. Next up we have Hooked by Emily McIntyre. This is a part of the A Never After series. I am so excited to read this book. This is a dark romance book. It's actually about Captain Hook. I'm really excited to read this. I'm kind of thinking I'm gonna read this next month, so in October, but who knows, because like I said, I'm a mood reader, so normally it's really hard for me to stick to my TBR, but this is kind of high up on my TBR list, so we will see. Next up we have Underlock by Mariana Zapata, and I need to read this book. I have been wanting to read a Mariana Zapata book for so long. I heard that with her books you could read them in a specific order for all the books to make more sense, because I guess different characters pop up in all of her books. So that's why I got Underlock first. You don't have to read them in that specific order. I believe they are all standalone books. But yeah, I bought Underlock first. Hopefully I'll get to this soon. I'm kind of leaning more towards like December, but if not in December, it'll probably be in January. So moving over, we have two books. These are a part of the Summer I Turn Pretty series by Jenny Han. We have It Is Not Summer Without You and We Will Always Have Summer. I seriously don't know when I'm going to get to these two books. I read The Summer I Turned Pretty in, I want to say July, and I feel like people are going to hate me for this, but I really didn't like the first book. Personally, I didn't like it. I did like certain things about the book, but it was not my favorite book, so I'm not sure if I want to finish the series. If somebody tells me that it is worth it to actually finish the series, then I will probably finish it, but other than that, I don't know when I'll get to it because, like I said, I really didn't like the first book. So moving over here a little more, we have The Time Traveler's Wife, and I don't know when I'm going to get to this book at all. Who knows if I'll actually read it. I probably won't. I'm kind of thinking about donating it because I started reading it and I really didn't like it. So yeah, I don't think I'm ever going to read this, so this might actually be donated. Next up we have Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen, and I actually really do want to read this book. I have no idea though when I'm going to get to it. I love the Pride and Prejudice movie. I believe it's the 2005 version. I really love the movie, so I thought I would give the book a try, but I don't know when I'm going to get to it. It's not very high up on my TBR list, but hopefully I will read it eventually. Next up we have All the Fails by Olivia Dade. I believe that's how you pronounce her last name. I believe this is the second book in a series. I did not purchase this book. My little sister actually purchased this book for me. I really don't know what it's about. I should probably look this up and see what it's about, like on TikTok, look at some aesthetic videos, and maybe it'll encourage me to buy the first book and actually read them. But other than that, I really don't have a urge to read these anytime soon. Next up, we have The Soulmate Equation by Christina Lauren, and I really want to get to this book soon because I have heard great things about it. I love Christina Lauren. They are amazing authors, so I really do need to get to this soon. This is kind of high up on my TBR list. I want to say it's about the middle in my TBR list, but hopefully I will get to this soon. I know that this is, I believe this is like a special edition that I got from Barnes & Noble, but yeah, I really want to read this. Next up, we have Bringing Down the Duke by Evie Dunmore. I also don't really know when I'm going to get to this book. This is another book my little sister bought me that she thought I might like because I guess somebody at Barnes & Noble told her it was like Bridgerton, and my sister told them that I like Bridgerton. I don't know when I'm going to get to this. If somebody says that this book is really good, I will read it for sure. But other than that, I really don't know what this book is about, so it's not very high up on my TBR. I should also probably look up what this book is about. So yeah, it's kind of low on my TBR. Who knows when I'll get to it. After that, we have Payback's a Witch by Lana Harper, and I am so excited to read this book. I have heard great things about this book. I'm actually planning on reading it next month in October as one of my Halloween books, so I'm really excited to get to this. I love any witchy books. I love them, so I'm really excited to read this. Next up, we have Falling Under the Mistletoe by Evelyn May, and I believe I bought this book and a couple other Christmassy books last December because I wanted to get into like the Christmas vibe, and I started to read this and I don't think I liked it, so I just stopped reading it. I'm kind of thinking about giving it a second chance this year, but who knows, maybe not, I don't know. Next up, we have The Initiation by Nikki Sloan. I actually purchased this book. It was a part of a book box collab with the books I love. I don't know when I'm gonna get to this. I really like the cover though. It's a special edition cover, but I kind of want to read it soon because I've heard it's really interesting, so I kind of want to get to this soon. So next up, we have A Million Kisses in Your Lifetime by Monica Murphy, and I have heard great things about this book. I was actually influenced to buy it because everybody was talking about it on Bookstagram. I have not gotten to it yet. I know that this is, I believe this is a prep school book, which I'm kind of interested in, but I don't know when I'm going to get to it, but I know it's really good. I believe this is also part of a series. I don't know if they could be read as standalones. I'm pretty sure that they can, but I've heard that this book is like the best, so I definitely want to get to this soon. So the next three books I have, I actually bought during the Barnes & Noble hardcover sale. I believe it was at the beginning of the year. So the first book I bought during that was These Violent Delights by Chloe Gong. I have heard great things about this book. I don't know when I'll get to it, but I've heard great things about it. Next up, we have The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab, and I really want to read this book soon because lately I've heard great things about this book. I know a lot of people do love this book, so I definitely want to get to this soon, but I have no idea when I'm going to get to it. So that is all of the books on my second shelf. Let's move on to the third shelf. The first four books I have on the third shelf are actually a part of the Addicted / Calloway Sister series. These are the last four books in this series. We have Addicted After All, which is about Lily and Lo. Then we have Fuel the Fire, which is about Connor and Rose. Then we have Long Way Down, which is about Daisy and Reich. And lastly, we have Some Kind of Perfects, which is the big epilogue book about all three of the couples. And I don't want to finish this series anytime soon. I mean, I'm going to. I definitely want to finish it this year, but I am dreading finishing this series. I genuinely love these characters so much that I think I am definitely going to cry my eyes out when I am done reading this book, because I don't even want to think about finishing that series. It's making me tear up. So after those books, I have a couple of Colleen Hoover books here that I haven't read yet. We have Ugly Love, which I don't know when I'm going to get to. I know that this is a lot of people's favorite Colleen Hoover book, so I definitely want to read it soon. Then we have Verity, which I am definitely reading in October. I'm so excited to read this book. I heard that it is so creepy, and I feel like it'll definitely be good for that Halloween vibe. After that, we have November 9th, which I actually kind of want to read closer to November 9th. So we'll see if that happens. And then I have All Your Perfects, which I don't know when I'm going to read, because I know that you could read this as a part of a series. So I kind of want to get those books before I read this. So the rest of the books up on this bookshelf, I did talk about in a previous video. It was my summer TBR video, and like I said, I really didn't get to read my summer TBR. But if you want to hear me talk about these books more in depth, you should definitely check out that video. Other than that, I'm going to kind of go through these books really fast because, like I said, I did talk about them in another video, and I'll have that video linked down below. First up, we have Funny You Should Ask by Alyssa Sussman, which really isn't a summery vibe, so I'll actually probably read this. I'm kind of thinking in November. The Summer of Broken Rules, The Good Girl Complex by Elle Kennedy, The Confidence of Wildflowers, which isn't really a summery book either, so I'll actually probably get to this soon because I did read the first book and I do want to finish the two books, so yeah, I will read this soon. Then we have It Happened One Summer and Hook, Line, and Sinker, The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren, The Spanish Love Deception by Elena Armas, which also really isn't a summer book, so I will probably read this soon. Then we have Every Summer After by Carly Fortune. Now the next two books I'm going to talk about, I will probably never read these books at all. I have no idea why I bought these books. We have After We Collide and After We Fell. I don't think I'm gonna read these books. I genuinely don't think so, so I will probably donate these books. Now moving on to my fourth bookshelf, which you guys can't see, but I do have a lot of the books that I talked about in my book haul down here, so I will actually go through these pretty fast. We have Ninth House by Lee Bordeaux, and I actually want to read this in October, so I will definitely be reading this soon. After that book, we have The Fine Print by Lauren Asher, which I definitely want to get to the series soon. I definitely want to buy the second book in the series, and then I will read them together. After that, we have A Touch of Darkness by Scarlett St. Clair. I will also be reading this book in October. This is a Hades and Persephone retelling. After that, we have Shatter Me. This is the first book in the Shatter Me series. I will have to buy the rest of the series before I read this book. So hopefully I will start purchasing those books soon because I definitely want to read the series soon. Next we have Emergency Contact by Mary H.K. Choi, which is, this is a young adult romance book. I don't know when I'll get to this, who knows, but hopefully it'll be soon. Then we have A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas, which I already talked about. So after that we have Her Majesty's Royal Coven, which I also want to read in October. I'm very excited about this. Then we have Magnolia Parks by Jessa Hastings, and I did start reading this book, and then I wanted to start a TBR for this month, so this was not on there. So I don't know when I'll get to this. Hopefully I'll read this soon. I actually want to buy the rest of the books in the series and then read them, but yeah, I'm definitely excited to read this. Then we have Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter, which I actually do want to get to this really soon. I believe this is going to be on my November TBR, so definitely look out for that. Then we have American Royalty. I'm really excited to read this. After that we have Beautiful Bastard by Christina Lauren. This is also part of a series. And then we have Stolen Air by Sophie Lark. The last couple books on my bookcase that I want to talk about were actually in my last video, which was my August TBR. So I'm going to go through these quickly too. Definitely watch that video if you want to hear me talk more in depth about these books too. We have The Love Hypothesis, which is my current read. Then we have Brutal Prince by Sophie Lark, which is the first book in the Brutal Birthright series. Then we have Love on the Brain by Ali Hazelwood. And lastly, we have Thrive by Kristen Becker Ritchie. This is a part of the Addicted/Calloway Sister series. And that is it for today's video. I really hope you guys enjoyed me showing you my physical TBR. If you have any book recommendations, please let me know down in the comments below. I'm always looking for new books. I also am wanting to get more into the fantasy genre, so if you have any fantasy recommendations, please leave it in the comments down below. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Do not forget to like this video and subscribe if you aren't already, and follow me on my Bookstagram and my TikTok, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.
3, 2, 1. Arguing again.